Hello everyone, my name is Maria and this is Knitting as Therapy. Today I would love to talk about some winter knitting plans. I know that winter has already started for a while and we already spent 1 month of winter knitting, but in general I decided that it's good to have some plan and prioritization of all of my garments and all of my knitting projects for a year, and it helped me a lot, to be honest, to define my most favorite projects that I want to create during the year. I will share the bundle on my Ravelry in the description below, where you can find all of these patterns that we will talk about today. And also I will have some notes on my laptop, checking them from time to time to not miss any important details about the patterns I have selected for this video. So we can move on to the next project we will talk about today. This is a highest prio for me and the most beloved one for this year, I think. I know that lots of other knitters are already starting their Celeste sweater by Petiteknit. It's like the perfect lopa base pattern for me. If you maybe haven't heard about this type of garments, it's a Norwegian style knitting sweater with colorwork, and I decided to focus more on different color works this year, and I think that Petiteknit Celeste sweater is the best option for it. Generally, I really struggled with color selection because there is like one main color and 4 other different colors. I wanted them to match fine with all of my wardrobe, so I will be able to wear this a lot. Suggested knit yarn is Peer Gynt by Sandnes Garn. There are quite nice shades that I like, quite nice colors that I like, that were created in collaboration with Petiteknit, of course. So as soon as this pattern was released, I started monitoring this hashtag Celeste sweater in Instagram and all of Ravelry projects where people were creating their own Celeste sweater. I wanted something interesting, but not too much, not too dark. I've also heard some knitters discussions about the color work patterns in general, and they mention that when there is some regular construction of the garment, you start from the yoke, you work it some mostly flat on the back, for example, and then you connect the front panels, connect it in around later. So for color work it's a bit hard to do, as I understood, and especially if you are not so experienced in color work as I am, for example. So I decided to start with working in round. I've already tried making lopa base sweater last year, so it's really a year ago, and it transformed into regular sweater with round yoke, without any raglan or drop shoulder, just with some increases in the round. It's more or less fine because it was one of my first sweaters that I created. Also, it was made with alpaca yarn, so it was quite drapey but still warm and light. I was surprised with the weight and everything, so it was interesting experience, but it ended up without any color work in it. I will maybe show it sometime in some video with projects I don't like a lot, or I won't call it like failed garments or failed projects, but I'm not 100% happy with them. So for Celeste sweater, the needle sizes are 4 and 4.5 millimeter needles. I will add also US sizes for needles because I'm not sure about them, so I will check while editing the video. So I'll put it somewhere here, maybe. The needles are also nice size for me. For color work part itself, the suggested needles should be bigger to avoid, this stretching, like to save the structure to be more relaxed for the color work part. I have already selected the yarn that I want to work with, and it's Sunday from Sandnes Garn. I was also considering double Sunday, but I'm not really a fan of weaving in ends, a lot of ends, and considering the fact that double Sunday it's like shorter in 50 grams, it's like a bit more than 100 meters per 50 grams. I decided to go with 2 strands of regular Sunday by Sandnes Garn. So I'm expecting the delivery really soon and can't wait to touch it because it's the first time I will be working with this yarn. I selected mostly Petiteknit colors. I found it as an option in Ravelry on someone's sweater. So I will share some details in the next episode of my podcast, and will specify the colors that I selected. I think they work together really nice, and yeah. So as soon as I will get the delivery, I will share it here too. The next garment I wanted to talk about, and I think is a good idea for... Sorry, my neighbors are doing some repairment. Sorry for the noise if you can hear it. So the next garment I think is a good option for the winter knitting. It's Hipster Beanie. I know that 2x2 ribbon is quite popular now, and Hipster hat should probably be one of the successful options. Most likely I will have to make one for myself, as so the next pre-offer, the next year knitting will be more self-care or selfish knitted projects. Lately I was working a lot, especially for Christmas, and in general my knitting was mostly for someone, for gifts, or I was also completing orders for babies' blankets. It's plush blankets. I will add an example here to have better understanding, so they are really nice. But in general I got more pleasure from making things for everyone around me, for my family, for my friends. So I decided this year to make more garments for myself, as I already talk a lot about knitting. I love knitting. I spend a lot of time while knitting, but as a knitter I don't have a lot of garments by myself. So I think it's a good time to start making something for me. Especially I also heard in someone's podcast saying that you should make your knitting garments for someone who appreciates your knitting, who knows how to care about it, and so on. So of course, obviously, I can do it for myself or for my boyfriend or for my mom still, for my father as well, because I can have a little bit of control over caring about their garments that I make for them. But my mom has already destroyed several of sweaters I made for her. They were, one of them was 100% merino wool, similar to Drop's Wish. Thick airy yarn with some lace cabling with leaves pattern. It was popular like a year and a half ago with Brunello Cucinelli design, I guess. So I made one for herself. She was very happy, and then she decided to put it in washing machine for spinning cycle. So now it's for a baby maybe, but not for herself. The size is much smaller now. More selfish needs next year. So Hipster Beanie is calling for a fingering weight yarn, fingering weight held double on 3.5mm needles, so it's quite similar yarn, can be used as for Oslo hat, but this 2x2 ribbon structure I think will give better shape for the beanie, and as I think it's double folded, not triple folded comparing to Oslo hat, so it may be lighter option for like transitioning from winter to spring period of time. So and even now in Lviv the weather is really warm. We had up to 10 degrees Celsius last week, like right before New Year Eve, so maybe I will be able even wear it now. Yeah, so that's the next project I think is good thing to make during this winter. The next one is Berlin scarf by Suzanne Müller. It's made on 6mm needles. The suggested yarn is worsted alpaca by Sandnes Garn as a super bulky yarn. And the scarf itself is worked on 7mm and 6mm needles. It's very long, it's up to 200 centimeters, so 2 meters long. I am a tall person, so such a long scarf will be a good fit for me. I am 1 meter 80 centimeters with long torso and long legs, you know, so it will fit me well. I'm considering, I don't want to make it with alpaca because I have a black coat for autumn winter period of time, so I think that alpaca blend will leave a lot of hair on my coat, so I decided to choose some boucle yarn. I saw lots of different nice boucle yarns without alpaca there, so I'm considering one really thin boucle yarn to hold it, I guess, triple to make it fingering. Yes. So then I will decide if I want it to be thicker or thinner, as it's a stock yarn. So for better understanding, so stock yarn, it's not some vintage frogged old sweaters. Stock yarn, it's a leftover from some clothing brands like Loro Piana, mostly some Italian brands, or Brunello Cucinelli. So they create lots of good quality wool garments. Mostly, of course, it's machine made, but you can also, there are some leftovers. For them it's like a small amount of yarn, but for us as a knitters it's good way to save some money. Yeah, so that's how I found my merino wool cashmere blend boucle yarn. It's really dark green, closer to black, under some light closer to dark gray sometimes. So I'm considering this yarn as a boucle version of this scarf. I like everything in this scarf, to be honest. It looks really nice, and I think it's really, well, I think it's really stylish piece and accessory to add some finish note to your outfit. As soon as I will order the yarn, I will share it as well. The next project I will love to talk about is sweater number 15. As soon as I saw it in green, I just fell in love with this pattern, with the idea, with all the cables, and with the small tiny details. It's a drop shoulder, but instead of connection when you pick up stitches for the front panels, instead of just the line, there is also a cable. Here also on the neckline there are also cabling instead of just regular increases. I'm just in love with it. I will put, hope, some green version of this sweater here so you can see why it is so nice. The suggested yarn is light fingering merino wool held together with silk mohair. So I have some hard work to do to find the best fit for myself. Not sure if I will select some bright green, but maybe some dark green will work better for myself. So in general, looking forward to make this one. It's also made on 4 and 4.5 millimeter needles. So I think it will be quite airy option because of light fingering weight yarn suggested in the pattern. So silk mohair should fit the spaces between the stitches, but in general it should be really lightweight sweater for more for spring period of time, I think. So I still have some time to make it. It seems that this video is converting into spring with knitting plans, but I would love to have all of these things ready before spring. That's why they are part of this video. The next garment that I considered as a nice project for this winter is Mamba Dress by Ulen Knitwear. It's by Maria Isaeva. The suggested yarn is sport weight alpaca merino yarn on 4 millimeter needles, our favorites today. Mamba Dress includes some cabling, high neck, or there is an option with regular neck, folded double. I'm still thinking about this pattern, so I'm not sure if I will do it now. Maybe I just need some time for it to rest somewhere on the back of my mind, because not sure about the length that I need to do. So maybe I will check Ravelry more detailed to find someone tall who created this pattern already and who made this dress. Also, I am not sure about the color, because I know that such knitted dresses look nice in a dark color, but as it's already with some mohair, it may collect all the hairs from other garments. If I decide to put on, like, to layer on a cardigan, for example, not sure if it will look nice, especially considering the fact that my cardigans, as this one is great with the natural alpaca hairs, so all these hairs will be left on the dress. Same the other cardigan I have, Bright and Pearls cardigan, it's in white, also with alpaca hairs, with a huge halo, because there are 2 strands of alpaca. So I think I will think about it for sure and decide something about the color. Maybe I will choose something from Petiteknit colors collaboration with Sandnes Garn, because I've just opened it for myself and I'm really excited about trying some more. So this is it about a Mamba dress, and we can move on to the next one, and it's a knit seamless kilt. It's a blanket designed by Jessica Rivas Potash. I hope it's properly pronounced. It's a free pattern on Ravelry with a bulky yarn. made on 10mm needles. I already had some experience with making blankets, but I was making baby versions of them. So the plush blankets that I mentioned before were made by hands from special yarn that has already defined loops on it. And also I made one with gablin for my friend last year before her daughter was born, but it was on 4 or 5mm needles, so I think 10mm needles can be as quick as baby blanket just on the sticky yarn. I would love to have some knee covering maybe while I'm working. So I think this blanket can be just a nice knee covering for myself as I'm working from home, so it may keep my legs warm during the workday, especially when I can't move a lot and in evenings I'm knitting, so I also need some blanket for sure. And it seems like quite easy to knit because there are some borders on the sides and the bottom top parts, and it will look quite similar to the idea of Granny Square's blanket, but it includes only knitting, not crocheting. I would love it to be or just a covering or maybe something bigger, not sure. I will check what will be the price for it, because for the big blanket I will need quite more yarn. As I think in the pattern itself it suggests using acrylic wool blend yarn, like 80% acrylic. I'm not a fan of using lots of acrylic yarns. They make strange noise while you are knitting with them, feeling a bit plastic, I think. So I don't really like buying it and using it for my knits. So let's see what I can find in more natural content for this blanket. The next one that I would love to talk about as my winter knitting plans, it's a Fennel seed jacket by Florence Muller. I like that she called it as a jacket because the yarn itself is worsted weight merino, held with mohair, silk mohair yarn. I couldn't find the needle size yet. It's made with seed stitch pattern, I guess. I like the color she chosen for her option. For her version. I know that the testing is in the process right now, so I can't wait for her to release this pattern already, because I like her style in general and the projects she selects for herself, the color matches. I think the Celeste sweater idea of the colors matching I took from her version of Celeste sweater. So looking forward for this pattern and looking forward for the opportunity to make it. The next one is Porcelain Sweater. As we talked already, everything is about color work this year. I want to move my knitting to the next level this year, so I've done lots of gablin. Now I want to do some color works, especially with lots of yarn in my stash that I can use for it. And the Porcelain Sweater, that's what I mentioned before when I was describing the Celeste sweater. In Porcelain Sweater, I think I will need some more experience, so I need to complete the Celeste sweater firstly, because for Porcelain Sweater you have to make this top part flat. So it's a bit harder to organize your yarn and your knitting in the proper order. And the suggested yarn here was a fingering weight yarn with silk mohair held double. So in case of making it with suggested yarns, there are 4 balls of yarn at the same time on 4mm needles. So I'm still thinking if I will be able to do so. Maybe I will find some merino cashmere blend that will work well for this pattern. And the color selection on the main part, on the main page provided by designer, it's Lenit. Forgot to mention it. I like the idea of having it more like grayish beige with a blue color. Previously I was thinking about adding some yellow and for the color work itself and having some darker one as a main color, but then I realized that I like some light colors for my knitting more. I don't know, maybe it's because like the result of my cabling, because cables are visible easier on lighter colors. So maybe I will change. It will change till the end of the year. And this is it for the porcelain sweater. The next idea from me is it's Raanu Socks, I think, by Raanu Socks. It's also colorwork socks, and both of these yarns I have in my stash. It's Regia and Filcolana Arvetta. Filcolana Arvetta is in general the only Filcolana yarns that you can find here in Ukraine. For Regia it's a bit better, but still you have to spend some time to find it, because not all of the knitting stores, yarn stores are selling it. So I think somewhere in between I will be able to make these beautiful colorwork socks on 3mm needles. I'm quite tight knitter, so maybe for colorwork I will need to switch to 3.25mm needles. Let's see if it will work for myself. Not sure that I will do it in black and white. I think I will choose something more colorful, as it's socks and I wear them mostly at home, so something fun during the day will be helpful a lot. Yeah, so nothing more to say about these socks. And the last one, as a biggest project I think for all of this selection, is Shaun's Gambier it's cardigan, men's cardigan by Lindsay. Can't pronounce the surname, I will put it here. It's made with super bulky yarn on 8mm needles, chunky jacket for men. I consider it to be as a jacket, not a cardigan, for my boyfriend. Maybe I will make the same one for my father if it's more or less quick knit, considering the fact that it's color work. But I love the pattern, I love the matching colors. Not sure about the 100% wool usage, but as like the last layer of your clothing, it may be fine, I think. So I will check. Also, I'm considering different color options, thinking about something darker or lighter, not sure yet. If you have made any of these color works before, please share what was your experience. I would love to have some more details and experience from you, because it's the hardest thing, I think. It's not knitting, but color selection, especially if you do not want to make it in the same color as designer provided. Yeah, it's the easiest way, of course, to use a provided idea, but sometimes I just can't find the same yarn in Ukraine, or I just don't like that colors, just want something lighter or darker or more colorful. I don't know, it depends. Yeah, so I also have some prioritization, but I was trying to describe them also in order of the prioritization I have here. So the first thing I would love to start with will be Berlin scarf, definitely. Yarn is almost ordered, we're ready for it. Celeste sweater, also can't wait to cast it on. I'm also considering the fact having organizing some knit alone, I think it's called, like knit together, creating some chat in Instagram, because I know that lots of people are considering making Celeste sweater right now. So also please let me know, or if you are interested, or maybe you are already part of such chat, we can just discuss the color selection at least, and maybe some issues that we will meet, so it will be not so scary for all of us to start. The next one, and something in between to switch after the color work, after Celeste sweater, I think will be Hipster beanie by Petiteknit, or maybe something similar, I don't know. Generally, I already have some understanding how to make a hat. I just use designers' ideas in case I would love it and select it for myself or for a present. Sometimes you just need to have some mindless knitting, and it's easier to do it by the pattern, but generally I already know how to make a hat on my own. So not sure it will be Hipster beanie, maybe it will be something else, but the general idea is the same, some ribbon, definitely. The next one will be sweater number 15 by my favorite since knitwear. Also, I have already defined the color. I am ready to start this one. Still, we have some time before spring and during spring to finish it. So I have these 4 projects as highest prio, and the rest of them just in case I will have some additional time or inspiration maybe, or I don't know, lots of yarn from somewhere. Yeah, so this is it for today. I'm grateful that you stayed here for such a long time and didn't leave after my neighbor repairments and some other noises. Thank you for watching. Hope you get some inspiration from this video and maybe some ideas that you got from this video. Please share any of your experiences and ideas. Maybe you have your own list. Let me know. I'm always ready for getting some discussions about knitting. Yeah, so this is it for today. Thank you and bye-bye. I know that lots of other knitters